Hello everyone. This recorded presentation will serve as a deepening on our study on the vision and mission statement of Xavier Ateneo. With regards to the profile of the ideal Xavier Ateneo graduate, you can study that on your own since it is pretty self-explanatory. Now, why do we need to study the vision mission statement? Your IDE 10.1, though focused on Ignatian spirituality, also serves as an orientation of the school of your choice, which is XU. So for you to better understand and appreciate XU, we have to begin by understanding the articulation of its hopes and dreams, which is in the vision mission statement. Let us begin with the vision statement. Very simply and very specific at that, XU desires to become a leading ASEAN university forming leaders of character by 2033. Xavier Ateneo desires to become one of the leading academic institutions among the ASEAN nations. ASEAN basically means Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So in the years to come, XU wants to become a leading school among the other schools from Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Vietnam, and Brunei Darussalam. It is a huge dream since the other ASEAN nations are also very good in their schools. Take, for example, Singapore's National University of Singapore, which is basically one of the consistent top universities in the world. But that's the hopes and dreams of XU, to become at par with these universities. XU is also very specific and clear that we don't only want to produce graduates who are capable and experts in their own field. XU desires not to produce only experts, but also leaders in their own workplace, in their own business, and in their own communities. For me personally, when talking about leadership, what comes to mind would always be the capacity to influence and inspire and become catalysts of change in any organization a person is in. You cannot really call someone a leader if he or she cannot even influence, if he or she cannot inspire, or he or she cannot even be prime movers of good change and development for organization and its people. Here, XU is also very specific in terms of time. The university desires that at the end of year 2033, which is exactly 100 years after its founding, Xavier Ateneo hopes that it already achieve what it desires, to become a leading ASEAN university. One could ask, would it be possible for XU to achieve such a huge dream by 2033? I am not really in the position to answer that, but what I am really sure of is that the university is doing its best in the achievement of this dream. Even now, when the nation and the world is suffering from the negative effects of COVID-19, XU is still continuing its work and its mission, the holistic formation and education of its students. Let us go to the first paragraph of the mission statement. Please notice the words and phrases with red fonts. They will become the focus of our study. So very simply, this part of the mission statement is an acknowledgement that aside from being a university or an academic institution, XU is also a Filipino, Catholic, and Jesuit in character. XU's identity will always be defined according to these characteristics: university, Filipino, Catholic, and Jesuit in nature. Integral or holistic development would always be one of the tagline or motto of Xavier Ateneo, and rightly so, since that is the very reason or essence of the university's existence. XU would always aim for integral development, and what better way to explain integral or holistic development than pointing out the 3 C's of XU: the competence, conscience, and commitment. The illustration of the head, the heart, and the hand is an apt description of the 3 C's. Simply put, XU desires to produce graduates who are capable and experts in their own field. That is competence. For example, an engineer who graduated in XU is a capable engineer who knows how to build sturdy buildings and bridges. A business graduate of XU is a capable business management person in a company or in a business. A teacher who graduated in XU is an excellent teacher in public or private schools. The doctors and nurses who graduated in XU are leaders and frontliners in the hospitals or clinics. The lawyers who graduated in XU knows the law and is capable of upholding the truth and justice. That is competence. We are experts and leaders wherever we will be. But what is the use of being an expert when your heart is full of greed and hatred? Xavier Ateneo prides itself of forming not only experts but also good individuals, graduates and individuals who can identify what is right and what is wrong and chooses the right thing always, no matter how inconvenient it is. An XU graduate always stands by the truth and justice and knows and feels for the situation and the needs of the poor and the marginalized. That's conscience. An XU graduate is a good person. Lastly, to complete the three C's, XU graduate is not only an expert and a good person, but also a person who is able to concretely manifest love and compassion through concrete deeds of goodness. That is commitment. An XU graduate is someone who is able to use his or her expertise, empowered by compassion and goodness, and thereby commit to making this world a better place by becoming leaders and developing communities and people. In this part of the mission statement, XU is also very, very clear. The gifts of education and formation you will get in the years of training in the university must answer to the needs of Mindanao, the country, and Asia Pacific. For me personally, this makes us unique as Xavier Ateneans. Our education and formation in XU should not only be for our own self-advancement, but also for the development and advancement of others. That is why we call ourselves men and women for others. We live and we exist not only for our own selves, but also for others, most especially the poor and the marginalized. In the second paragraph, let us focus again on the red fonts. And this is the first characteristics of XU, Xavier Ateneo as a university. All Ateneos have their own motto. For example, Ateneo de Manila University, it's Lux in Domino, that's basically Latin for light in God. For Ateneo de Davao University, it's Fortes in Fide, or strong in faith. In Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan, it would always be Veritas Liberabit Vos. That's Latin for the truth will set you free. The truth here does not necessarily mean telling the truth or being honest, though it could also be a good meaning to XU's motto. In a deeper sense, the truth here stands for wisdom or knowledge, meaning that the truth, knowledge, wisdom would always set us free from whatever that binds us or imprisons us. Knowledge or education will always free man from bondage. As a university, teaching, formation, research, and social outreach would always be our four pillars or strengths. These four pillars will be expounded in the following slides. In terms of teaching, XU is proud to say that we have a very good pool of knowledgeable teachers in the universities who are not only experts in the classroom but also in their own field. Engineering teachers are also very good engineers in their own field. Our medicine teachers are also very good doctors in the hospitals, and etc. I should agree to this statement since I am one of the university instructors. Aside from that, our colleges and schools are CHED-approved academic programs. Our colleges and schools are also Center of Excellence or Center of Development, pronounced by CHED. And our colleges and schools have also earned a high level of PASCO accreditation. And sure enough, it translates to successes and commendation in national board exams and reaccreditation. So just last year, XU was granted reaccreditation by PASCO for 5 years. Our nursing school is still the top nursing school in the country and is still 100% in board exams for 10 consecutive years. We are third top performing school in real estate broker. Our School of Law is top 9 performing school in bar exams. And our accountancy program is top 10 in last year's board exam. So surely, XU is doing very, very well in terms of its student academic training. We are not called as Xavier Ateneo for nothing after all. To hold true to its promise of integral or holistic formation, XU does not only focus on academics, but also focuses on the other aspects of human development. Under the formation cluster, students are provided a venue to develop their spiritual, psychological, cultural, and leadership development. Under the normal circumstance, involvements in student organizations and leadership development is always part of an XU student's life. However, we have to put that on hold for now since we are on a state of pandemic. But no matter the situation, students can still avail on spiritual and psychological services offered by the various offices of the university. For example, the Campus Ministries Office will offer retreats and recollections, and guidance and counseling will still provide venue for psychological assistance. Research is always part of an XU student's life. All our courses and programs will always have research aspects or components. The university believes that as future experts, students should be trained on how to do effective and relevant researches. The Kinaanman Research Center, or KRC, takes care of both the research development of both teachers and students. After all, research can mean better lives for people. Though academic in nature, XU is also proud to say that we are also very good in social outreach. This is part of our identity as XU, as men and women for others. We are not only knowledgeable on social and current events, but we are also able to do what we can to help the communities of Cagayan de Oro and the country. The Social Development Cluster handles the social engagements of both students and teachers. As Ateneans, we are proud to say that we are critical thinkers. Rigorous or critical thinking means that we know how to decipher between fake news and the real news. Most importantly, through critical thinking, our actions will become an action that is reflected upon and not out of whim or emotions. Critical thinking can mean that before we post something on Facebook or other social media, we make sure that it is a correct information and not fake news. Critical thinking means we think before we click. XU students are critical thinkers. We do not believe in a certain idea because it is the popular idea. XU students upholds the truth always. In this third paragraph of the mission statement, we focus on the appreciation, preservation, and enrichment of the Filipino culture and heritage. This is also the second characteristics of XU. XU as a Filipino university. Simply put, XU is very proud to be a Filipino university and is committed to the appreciation, preservation, and enrichment of Filipino culture and heritage. XU will always commit to training its students to become more Filipino rather than becoming more like a foreigner. The young Filipino now are becoming more like Koreans every day because of Park Soo-joon, Lisa, and Jisoo. Father Jet Valerian S.J., the president then of XU and now the president of Ateneo de Manila University, once commented that XU will always challenge its students to become Filipino, to speak, dress, sing, dance, and even eat like a Filipino. This is a concrete example of how XU is proud to be a Filipino university. At a distance, the Philippine flag is visible in the campus, signifying that whatever happens, XU is a Filipino university. Even in your curriculum, all students have to go through, I think, 3 Filipino courses, hoping that through these subjects, you students will be able to appreciate more your Filipino identity. The Museo de Oro is a museum dedicated to Filipino culture and heritage, and most specifically that of Mindanao. Inside the museum is a fossil of an extinct mastodon or a prehistoric elephant that can only be found in the Philippines, most especially in the island of Mindanao. One of my students before once said that even that prehistoric elephant is a Filipino and that he or she is Bisaya. In the fourth paragraph, we focus on the deep personal friendship with Jesus Christ and preferential option for the poor. This is the third characteristics of XU as a Catholic university. The university is a Catholic university. This means that we always provide a venue for our students to develop that desired deep personal friendship with Jesus Christ. In XU, we believe that the Lord is not locked up in the heavens, but He can be known personally and that you can encounter Him every day. At the very heart and the center of the main campus is the University Church of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This alone signifies that XU is a proud Catholic university. So if we will be allowed to go back to our campus for a face-to-face learning, and if you are a Catholic, please make time to visit the church and pray even though you are busy. Don't just visit the church and pray only during exams or when you are brokenhearted because you said I love you to someone and he or she replied okay, or worst, sin-zoned in FB chat. You can pray even when you are happy and contented. Retreats and recollections, like what I said earlier, are always part and a requirement for a student in XU. For us, the requirement in nature, this is our way of keeping you near to the Lord and help you develop that deep personal friendship with Jesus Christ. I have to point out though that we acknowledge that we are proud to be Catholic University, XU also welcomes people of different faiths, and we desire understanding, appreciation, and dialogue with different faiths. As a Catholic university, XU believes in the principle of preferential option for the poor. This means that XU will always stand by the poor and that we have conscious bias for the poor always. I've explained this earlier. As a leader and expert in the future, Xavier Ateneo education should not only be for your own advancement, but also for others, most especially the poor and the marginalized. This picture captures that character of XU as an institution who believes in the preferential option for the poor. These were our former students in the university during Tabang Visayas operation. The objective of the operation is to help whatever way we can the people affected by Bagyong Yolanda, specifically in Tacloban area. Students help in the repacking of relief goods, which will then be sent to Tacloban. Even some students gone through the trouble of begging for money on the streets, so XU can procure bottled water and medicine and send them to Tacloban. This is a very special photo of the XU team composed of faculty members and students who traveled from XU to Tacloban and facilitated various activities like relief operations, medical missions, psychological debriefing, water and sanitation training, and have even done researches. I was actually one of this team. I am not in the photo basically because I was the one who took the picture. This guy was a student of development communications. He was actually taking pictures of farmers in Cotabato. The pictures he took was then made part of a website which helped the poor farmers in selling their organic produce even until now, years after. This activity was part of the service learning program of XU. This is a program for selected graduating students wherein students of XU are assigned to different areas of Mindanao and apply what they have learned in school to real communities and people, hoping that they will be able to help them in any way. This student is only one of the many students who have made a mark in the lives of the poor people in Mindanao through the service learning program. Remember, XU education is also helping the poor. Even in basic education, XU provides a venue for students to help the poor communities of Cagayan de Oro. This is a picture of students, high school students, junior high school students, on their way to their junior high school's Tulong Dunong activity. XU will always be proud that we train our students not only to see the realities of the poor, to have compassion for their situation, but also to act on it. The fifth paragraph, and also the fourth characteristics of XU as a Jesuit university. Let us now focus on Jesuit mission and Ignatian values. As a Jesuit university, we take part in the Jesuit mission of reconciliation with God through service of the promotion of justice, reconciliation with others through dialogue with different cultures and religion, and reconciliation with the creation through protection of the environment. I will not really talk much about this part of the mission statement since it will be discussed more in the coming meetings. Since we are an Ignatian university, we uphold the values and spirituality of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. As students and graduates of XU, it is important that we know, and that we practice these Ignatian values and spirituality not only in school, but also at home, in the communities, and wherever we will be. The Ignatian values stated in the mission statement, like Magis, Cora Personalis, and finding God in all things, will be discussed in Module 2. The sixth paragraph is simply a summary of the mission statement, and this time highlighting the three C's of XU, the competence, conscience, and commitment. And I was able to explain this to you earlier. So remember the integral holistic development: competence, conscience, and commitment. So that is my take on the vision and mission statement of Xavier Ateneo. My hope is that you are able to understand better and appreciate the school. I've been with XU since kindergarten to grade school to high school to college to further studies, and I've been working here for 15 years. What amazes me always is that Xavier is more than a school or a university. It would always be a school of life.